Welcome back, troglodytes, to Would You Rock or Not? Today we're looking at a Gibson Les Paul Standard that's see-through? No, this is clearly a fake. Alright, so this one is on eBay and I saw it. It's like, okay, that's interesting. I'm pretty sure Gibson has never done this before. So let's go ahead and look at this listing. It's listed as an acrylic Gibson Les Paul Standard with SKB hardshell case. This thing had a starting price of $350, and look at all the people bidding on this. That's 6 individual buyers wanting this thing. And it's clearly not a Gibson at all. So the description reads, acrylic Les Paul body with Gibson bolt-on neck. Okay, Gibson bolt-on neck, there's your first red flag. Gibson does not make bolt-on necked guitars. Now they used to. In the 70s and 80s, there was a very shortly lived run of L6S guitars that were called the Midnight Specials. I believe those were the first iteration of the L6S, and they had a bolt-on neck which later transferred into a set neck. Then there was the Marauder and S1, as well as the Sonics. So a Gibson bolt-on neck does kind of exist, but definitely not in the modern era. Next thing, it says Gibson speed knobs. That part could potentially be true or not. It's definitely the Gibson style. Pearl Gibson Deluxe tuners. Yeah, they're the same style, but definitely not what they should look like. SKB hardshell case. Well, that's probably authentic, but it was added later. And he says everything is in working order. Overall, a very cool guitar and collector's item. Alright, buddy, keep telling yourself that. So, let's go ahead and go over what is just absolutely wrong with this guitar. First off, once again, acrylic body. Gibson has never done this as far as I'm aware. However, there are other manufacturers that have done similar things like this. If we zoom in here, you can see that it is a metric styled bridge. Gibson's will not have that little slot right there. Now technically, I think that type of adjustment is superior. I think it's a little bit easier to do, but to keep historical accuracy alive, they've never done those types of bridges. Now, since this body is transparent, it's a little bit harder to tell if that's actually the correct body shape or not. So we can't really go based off of the Les Paul shape on this one, and I think that's what's throwing people off for this guitar. Our next one is the lack of fret nibs right here. Now, just because a Gibson does not have fret nibs does not mean it's fake. I think it was around 2014, Gibson just decided, let's do away with fret nibs, make it easier on ourselves. So some modern day Gibsons won't have that, or if you ever re-fret your guitar, which older guitars sometimes need, you're going to lose those fret nibs in the process unless you want to pay a boatload of money in order to retain those. Our headstock is just completely wrong. The shape is not quite there. You can see it's not exactly symmetrical. This side's a little higher than the other side. And that logo, while it does look good enough to trick the untrained eye, there's just about nothing right to that one. The Les Paul model silkscreen does look fairly good, but right here, big red flag. Gibson does not use 3 screws on their truss rod covers. They only have 2, one at the top, one at the bottom. Again, this is one of those historical accuracy things. Would it technically be better to have 3? Maybe. That's how Epiphone does their truss rod covers. And again, there's exceptions to every rule. The only guitar that comes to my mind that is a Gibson with 3 screws is the Sonics, once again from the 80s. And the nut on this one is completely the wrong style. So despite there being just about everything wrong with this guitar, it's good enough to trick people into bidding on this thing up to $720 so far. Now I'm hoping these are people that realize it's fake and they're jumping the price up, that way nobody actually gets scammed. But sadly, with this many bidders on it, I'm guessing somebody is going to get scammed out of a good chunk of cash. I'm sure you could probably order one of these things from China for about $400 shipped to your door. Now, unfortunately, the seller did not take any photos of the back of the guitar, so we can't examine the serial number, and we can't actually see if it's actually a bolt-on neck or not. Most of the Gibsons at least get the set neck portion right, so I think it'd be interesting to see this guitar from behind. So even though this is not a Gibson, we can learn a little bit about the construction of a Les Paul. Because look, you can see everything. This is actually really unique. Here you can see the channel route for the wiring from the toggle switch, how it goes over under the neck pickup, and then it goes down, and then over to the control cavity. You can also see the pickups inside the guitar, and the bridge studs that are actually in the guitar itself. These cream circles that you're seeing on the other side are the other plastic pieces. Gibson does not use cream plastics for the back plate covers. It's usually either brown or black. So I don't suggest you buy this guitar. I would actually like to request that everybody goes and reports this guitar so we don't run into any issues. If you'd like to do that, simply follow the link in the description. You'll have to scroll down on the page to right here where it says report item. The category you'll want is copyright and trademark. The reason for the report is counterfeit item or authenticity disclaimer. And detailed reason, counterfeit, fake, or replica item. And then they'll ask you for a brief description. You can simply say this guitar is not an authentic Gibson product. Submit your report, and then eBay gives you false assurance that they'll actually do something about this. It usually takes hundreds of reports before eBay will actually do anything. The last video I did on a seller that was just selling tons of these fakes, despite all the reports, eBay never did anything, but hey, it's worth a try. Now, is this a bad guitar? No, it's just infringing on Gibson's copyrights. So, as an idea, would you rock this guitar or not? Leave your answer down in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as report this listing, and we will see you tomorrow on the next episode. Take care.